Hello.
How you doing?
I'm doing very well. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you.
You're English.
Yes, I am, yeah.
Where are you from?
Well, originally from Gloucestershire near Cheltenham.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
And where do you live now?
I live just in Southampton.
In Southampton.
Yeah.
All right. And what's your story? Who are you? What's your name?
Well, my name's Craig Harrison, and I've done 23 years in the British Army, and I held the world record for the longest sniper kill in the world.
Wow.
Yeah.
The longest sniper kill in the world.
That's correct, yeah.
How long was that?
Just over 1.5 miles, so 2,475 meters away.
Wow. And you've been in the army? Are you still in the army?
No, I've been discharged. I got medical discharge with PTSD. About 2013, I got discharged. So I'm now a civilian, a veteran, trying to fit into civilian life.
Tell me, Craig, what wars did you see?
I've done 10 tours altogether. So I've done Bosnia, Kosovo, Iraq, and Afghanistan. So.
I tell you a little story. When I was 16, 17, I wanted to join the SAS.
Really?
And I think I wanted to join the SAS. I never did. But I think I wanted to join the SAS because I wanted to feel a part of something.
Okay.
I wanted to feel camaraderie. I wanted to feel like I had a mission, like I had a purpose. I mean, what is it like being in the army?
It's a different world, you know. Obviously, I'm out now, and I struggle with PTSD, and I struggle with purpose, because when you're in the army, you've got camaraderie, you've got friends, you know. Sometimes the job's shit, you know, but you got your friends around you, you got your colleagues around you, just pull you out of that slump, wherever you're in, you know. And once you leave the army, you haven't got a purpose. That's how I'm struggling with, you know, because in the army, you get told what to do, you know, and you're guided in what you do. You do missions, you go on tour, you do exercises, you know, you stay fit and everything. But once you leave the army, you're not focused. You haven't got that purpose. And having a 9-to-5 job, you know, in civilian street, it doesn't really cut the mustard, you know, doesn't really make you feel wanted as more the best I can say, really. Yeah, I miss it a lot, you know. And yeah, I still miss it now, and I still struggle now, you know. Even 8 years on, I still struggle.
How has PTSD affected you? I mean, actually,
massively. I don't go out hardly at all. I like loneliness. I like being on my own, you know. I have really down days, really shit down days. I call them wobble days, you know. I'll have a bit of a wobble, and my wife tries to bring me out. You know, I heavily rely on medication to help me sleep, to help me focus through the day. You know, I go to the gym. I go to the gym 4 o'clock in the morning, every morning, you know, trying to focus, give me a purpose of doing that. You know, I had a little dog, Betsy. She just recently passed. I had her for 18 years, you know, and she was my focus as well as my wife. You know, and PTSD is hard. PTSD is very hard, you know, and it's weird because, you know, from the First World War, when it was classed as shell shock, you know, from the Second World War, when it was still classed as shell shock, and then the Americans brought it in, PTSD, and people trying to understand PTSD. To this day now, no one really understands it except that one person that's going through it, you know, and trying to tell people what it's like. You know, sometimes you bash your head against the wall, you know. And my problem was military PTSD is different than civilian PTSD. because obviously conflicts that you've seen, you've done a lot of stuff. Being a sniper as well, I've seen a lot of stuff as well, and I've achieved a lot of stuff. And somebody just had a car crash, trying to adjust their PTSD to your PTSD. You get angry now and again. You think, why they got PTSD? I've got PTSD. But, through my therapist, I'm beginning to understand it more. I'm beginning to understand that, yeah, we're on the same level. PTSD is PTSD. It's post-traumatic stress,
I always tell people that I can connect really well with anyone that's been in the military. And I believe that is because although I've never been into a war zone, I grew up in an emotional war zone.
Okay.
And I feel like I most definitely have civilian PTSD. It's something that I really don't share often, maybe never, but I'm going to do it anyway. For many years, I've suffered from night terrors. I don't know if you've had night terrors.
Yes, I do. Yeah. Many years, me and my wife slept in separate beds for about good 4 years because I used to lash out and hit her, and now we've got like a humongous bed. Well, I can hardly touch her now, so yeah, I know what night terrors are. Yeah.
I mean, they're just horrifying, right?
Yeah.
I remember the worst night terror, and this actually I've never shared publicly, but the worst night terror I ever had. I was doing a TV show in Barcelona, and I don't know what you know about me, but I basically travel around the world relying on the kindness of strangers.
Okay.
And one of the shows that I did, I was walking from the Eiffel Tower to Red Square, Moscow, on €5 a day. And I would ask people to stay in their houses. And I ended up meeting this guy, and he lived on a boat. I was like, all right. So I said, can I stay in your boat? And he's like, yeah, you can stay in my boat. And this is all being filmed. And then, we go and we have this lovely night. I remember playing guitar, and then the camera crews leave, and I'm sleeping in this boat in the harbor, fortunately. And I remember waking up inside the sea. I had jumped out of the boat into the sea.
Really?
And it was just, I mean, you know far better than I do.
Yeah.
The pain of that. And really PTSD is, it's a mental health issue, right? It's as you rightly said, there's a distinction. There's a distinction between the PTSD of the military and the PTSD of the civilian. But on some level, the thread is the same.
Yes. Yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah. And how have you kind of used your experience with mental health issues, specifically around PTSD, to kind of help others? Because I can sense that you have a big heart. Yeah. So how have you done that?
Through the years, I've always been interested in bushcraft, many years, and I've got qualifications in bushcraft now. And I've opened my own bushcraft school, my own survival school. It's called the Mavericks Survival School. And I invite veterans, all civilians who've got PTSD or mental health problems, to come along to my school. If they haven't got equipment, I supply all the equipment for them just to get away and have a respite for a weekend. It's from Friday to Sunday. And I teach them bushcraft. I teach them foraging, everything they need to know, and it's escapism for me as well, and I like giving back to them as much. And I feel an achievement that through my PTSD and my mental health, I'm helping others. Like you said, and I've got spaces, I'm lucky enough to have a sponsor, Cloud Orca, who's my sponsor, and they offer three spaces each month for people to come along onto the course, with people with mental health or veterans, as I said, and it works very well. Yeah. I'm lucky enough to have 57-acre woodblock to hand, which a friend lets me use. And it's just giving back, and it helps me as well, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I think Winston Churchill once said, I always say this quote. If you've heard me say this quote, sorry, but I'm going to say it anyway. Winston Churchill once said, when you find yourself walking through hell, keep walking, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's a really important message for anyone who is suffering from any mental health issue, right? It's like, we'll go to the doctor and we're like, oh, my finger's broken. Yeah, we'll go to the doctor, oh, my ear's hurting, right? But when it comes to like going to a therapist, ooh, I can't go to a therapist. There's nothing wrong with me. Yeah. But I don't think that there's a single human being on this planet currently that wouldn't benefit, unless you're a kid, right? Even a young kid, but who wouldn't benefit from having someone to speak to, having someone to like share their pain, having someone to like just hold space, right? And I don't know if you're feeling this, but for me, yes, we're having this conversation with our words, but I feel that there's like I feel that sense of camaraderie with you. I mean, look, I've only known you for 10 minutes, right? But I feel that sense of camaraderie because you've told me about your struggles, some of your struggles. You've told me about the PTSD. I've told you a little bit about my struggles, and it brings us together.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. And if I ever saw you walking, I'd offer you a room in my house.
Well, there you go. I mean? And I would definitely say yes.
Yeah.
So tell me what some of the stuff that you saw in Iraq and Afghanistan. And I mean, what's it like to be in a war zone? Like I said, I know what it's like to be in an emotional war zone. I don't know what it's like to be in a war zone. I mean,
it's a different world, you know, and I think as well, being a sniper, you get different mission roles, you know, than a normal foot soldier, you know, because you have to, your first job as a sniper is to gather lifetime information of the battlefield. So you get put into place to gather as much information on a target as possible. And then after a certain amount of time, you end up taking that target out, you know, so it's hard. It's very hard. And I suffer from images, you know, looking for the scope. I get flashbacks a lot on things that I've seen, you know, through Iraq and Afghanistan, you know, but Kosovo was bad as well, you know, digging up mass graves, you know, which the people left behind, all the Albanians, stuff like that. Horrendous stuff, you know, that I held back for, what's it called? Compromise it, you put it in a box and put it in your brain.
Compartmentalize.
That's it. Yeah. You put it in your brain and you just box it away. And that's what I'd done all my army career, you know. And obviously my last tour in Afghanistan, I got blown up. I hit a 30-kilo anti-tank mine in my vehicle. My driver suffered severely with his legs. I got blown out. I broke my arms. I got a brain injury. And that was it. This wall had shattered. Everything that I was holding back, all these boxes were starting popping open and everything started flooding forward and I couldn't control it. I was out of control. Images, things that I've seen, smell, taste, everything that I've been boxing up, I was just flooded, you know, and I didn't realize, I tried to hide it a lot, but my wife spotted it first, you know, and then the army spotted it. And then obviously, you know, you get discharged out of the army, but being in a war zone is a different world. It's a different world. People think that what you see on the news, majority of it's propaganda, you know, what you see on the news, you see war fighting all the time. It's not like that in a war zone. You know, you could have 2 days downtime and then you're back on the front line again. You know, it's not full on constantly all the time. You know, and that's what people need to remember. You know, when they see it on the news, it's just fight, 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 fight. Well, it's not like that in real life. You know, you do have downtime to depressurize and then you're back in the field again, you know, because if you're full on, like the Second World War or something, you're full on in the trenches in the First World War, you know, you wouldn't survive. You know, people will have more mental health issues than God knows what, you know.
powerful stuff. How have you got better since 2013?
My wife, without a doubt. My dog, when she was alive. She only died last week, so a bit gutting. Medication. I know medication is not the answer, but it puts me on that even balance. It puts me on that even balance, and it helps me sleep. It helps me function through the day. And I know I've got a problem, because if I miss one day of medication, I'm shit. I'm the most nightmarish person to be around, And I write things down as well. I've got a book that I write things down. My wife brought me it. It's a leather-bounded book, and it's got a lock on it. And it's got the most vilest things in there ever. And I write cover to cover all the time. I'm writing in it, to express it. Instead of voicing it, I write it down. And in the way I'm protecting my wife, in the way I'm protecting other people, because I'm expressing it in different ways. And that helps. Also, I see a therapist. I see a therapist every Thursday. His name's Ross Hoare. He's an absolutely godsend guy. But I pay out my own money, because I think veterans with mental health issues, and they go to a civilian therapist, they don't know. They don't understand. National Health don't understand, because if it was a civilian with PTSD or mental health issues, the doctor can help or the therapist can help because they're trained for that. But when a soldier's sitting in front of you saying, I saw a dead baby in a skip, I saw women cut apart, I saw heads, I've seen this, they're like themselves, But my therapist, brilliant guy, fantastic. And certain bits that I do, my wife, my dog, writing things down, and Ross, 4 things, and medication, that's 5 things, help me stay on this world. And if I didn't have none of them, I doubt if I'd be here now. Because I suffer from suicidal ideation. I think about it all the time. All the time I think about it. And the medication and my wife keeps me on this planet, keeps me on this planet. Like I said, medication is not the answer, but it fucking helps. It fucking helps.
You have to do what you have to do.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And look, man, I'm going to tell you that I sense your pain.
Mm-hmm.
I really sense your pain. I feel it. Of course, I haven't experienced what you've experienced, but I feel your pain, and that like your pain about your dog. I had a dog called Winston Churchill, actually.
Really?
A Boston Terrier. When he died, for 6 months I was crying, because that dog showed me how to love. It was like unconditional.
Yeah.
Right? And I would imagine that that's a similar experience that you had with your dog.
Oh, Betsy, her name was. She was just, I get upset. She was my all, She was my best friend, and nothing will replace that. Nothing.
20 years ago, I did a 1-week course. I was feeling very depressed, a lot of anxiety. And it was like a course on depression and anxiety. It's actually called Survivors, believe it or not. And I remember at the end of this 1-week course, the teacher said that there was a guy in the course who used to be a Navy SEAL. And the guy expressed that he was a Navy SEAL. And he turns around and he says to the teacher, he says, I've surrounded myself with brave people. But the truth is, the truest bravery is what is going on in this room. The sharing of pain, the sharing of vulnerability. And as you and I sit here and speak, I was reminded of that story, of that Navy SEAL 20 years ago, because clearly you've seen a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But the truest act of bravery is just to share yourself. I mean, you don't know me. You know, you don't know who's going to listen to this, right? But here we are having this conversation where I got to share about the moment I jumped off the boat. You got to share about all of your moments, and we're having a bonding moment over our dogs. That is true vulnerability, and that is true bravery, and that is a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful thing. Right?
And I encourage, and talking is what's it about, you know, and I encourage through my Instagram, I encourage people to talk, you know, talk to your wife, talk to your family, go and seek help, you know, because there is help out there, you know, and if you're strong enough, you need to go and find it, you know, and sometimes it's only around the corner, and sometimes it's your best friend, and sometimes, majority of the time, it is your wife or your partner that will get you through it.
What's your Instagram so people can go and see it?
I don't know what my Instagram. What is my Instagram, Boo?
What?
What's my Instagram?
COH.
Oh, she got to find it.
She's got to find it. All right, no worries.
Yeah.
Do you know what? Is your wife willing to be part of this podcast?
Boo, do you want to be on the podcast?
Oh, I've just had a shower.
She doesn't mind. Yeah,
Huh?
come and sit here.
I've just had a shower.
That's fine.
Hi, I've just had a shower.
Hey, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
It's a pleasure to chat with you.
And you?
Some of the stories that Craig has mentioned to me, I don't know if you heard anything I said. But,
No, I
okay.
tend to let Craig get on with it.
yeah. But I understand, again, not the military style PTSD, but I understand the civilian PTSD.
Yeah.
The night terrors. I was telling him about night terrors. And he was telling me, I asked him, how did he manage to get through all of this? And one of the first thing he said was you.
Oh.
So, I mean, what is it like to live with someone who you love with all your heart and all your soul, and you see them suffering? And there's nothing wrong with suffering, right? It's part of life. It's part of being human, and specifically for you who's seen war, right? But what's it like to live with someone who's suffering like this?
I should have bought a box of tissues. It's really hard. Craig's one of these guys that if you put him in a room, people they magnetize to him. He can tell a story. They're in awe of him. He's a joker. People just like being around him. He can hold a conversation. He's just natural. And to see someone, I mean, when we were dating, I used to belly laugh so hard, my stomach used to hurt. And I had that. We've been together over 18 years. We're married 17. And to see someone's character nosedive in front of you is the hardest thing. And not understand. And we always communicate. We've always been good at communication. And him not talk to me. And I was taking it personally. Is it something wrong with me? Are we going in different directions? Is it a breakdown of a relationship? I didn't know what it was. But I wasn't going to let this go. It was a case of I want to know what's wrong. Please talk to me. Tell me what's wrong. Something's not right. Craig's a very proud man, which most men are, and that's the problem. It's literally breaking down that wall to say, I'm here, talk to me, please talk to me, I love you, we can work this out together. And that's literally what I did day in and day out. His friends would say to me, is Craig okay? Is everything okay at home? And I'd be like, yes. And that's where I started to think, well, maybe it's not anything to do with us. It's something work related. And obviously the temper was arising. He was pushing me away, like being quite nasty, where when we finally got there and sat down and worked it out, that he was pushing me away because he didn't want me to go through it with him. He didn't want me to see that side of him. And pushing me away was him coping with it on his own and not wanting to talk about it, not wanting to open up. But we got there. I mean, it took a long time. It did take a long time. And I understand why some partners or whatever can't do it, because it's hard. It's a struggle. I mean, I would go to bed and I would cry. I would ring my mum and I would cry. And it's a struggle because you haven't got that support yourself. You don't want anyone to know that your husband's telling you to F off, your husband's getting angry with you for no reason. You don't want people to know that. You want people to think that your marriage is all tickety-boo and wonderful. And that was a struggle because I was also struggling on my own, but I didn't open up to him to say, you're upsetting me. I was trying to stay strong for him to say, look, I can take on board whatever it is you need to tell me. And as I said, we did get there and, we've worked really hard at it. And now, like I say, we're trying to relay that to other people. Please talk to somebody. It does take time. It takes a long time, but there is people there to listen. But it's very hard as a partner and a wife, to go through it and see him go through it.
How are you relaying it to other people? What kind of stuff are you doing? Because it's so important to get the message out that it's an extreme case, right? But that it's okay to not be okay.
Yeah.
We kind of live in a society where everyone is like, oh, I'm fine. Yeah. But we're not. It's okay. I think we're all insane a little bit, right? All of us. How can you not be with what's going on in the world at all times with Facebook, Twitter, news, just chaos? The pain, it's like an inability to feel connected. It's perfectly okay to not be okay.
Yeah.
And you guys are like, hopefully going to be a mirror to anyone listening to this or anyone watching this to be like, okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
To not be okay.
Yeah. I think at some point in anyone's life, there's been hardship, there's been sorrow, there's been something, and you will cry, you will hold it in, you will scream, you will lose your temper, whatever it is important. And this is what we say to people: it's important to find that person to talk to, because instead of bottling it up, instead of it brewing, you're releasing it. And that's what's the important part of it, is releasing that anger, that damage, that frustration, whatever it is. Talk about it. Craig did a big platform of a media, and he got over, I think, nearly 8 million views because he cried on the interview. And the men that reached out and said, oh wow, what an inspiration. And I mean, he's got so many followers now because he opened up. This big muscly man, tattooed guy that was in the army for 23 years, cried and said, I'm not coping, I can't cope, and I'm worried. I nearly took my life because I wasn't coping. And it's opened up this big media platform where guys are reaching out to Craig now. And we've both said, if we could help one person, I know everyone says that, if we can help one person, we will do all we can. And if it means answering as many messages as possible, he will do that. And that's exactly what he's doing. And now, obviously, with the school, Craig tries to invite as many people down to say, look, come and join me, come and sit with me. So even if we sit around the fire and toast marshmallows, let's just sit and chat. And that's exactly what he's doing. And it's amazing what he's doing. And obviously the sponsorship and everything, we're able to sort of do more. And obviously we want to get bigger and help more. But it needs to be a lot of other places that help, not just us. It needs to be other places that step up and help these guys, veterans, civilians, whatever, because it is going on and people do need to be heard and they need the help and they need it to be free as well. And that's what people struggle with. It's not free. People haven't got the money. Like you said, we're struggling. Financially wise, people haven't got the money, so that they are shutting themselves in their room, hiding themselves under the duvet because they haven't got the help. And it's such a shame because it's needed. Yeah. It doesn't matter what you've done. It's needed. The help's needed.
You just reminded me of how grateful I am, because I have spent 20 years, a little bit more than 20 years, trying to fix the broken heart that I have lived with for many years.
Oh.
And I have done that partly because I had the financial capacity to do it.
Yeah.
I have sat on for thousands of hours on therapist couches. I have done retreats. I have done so much. Yet I don't know if I could have done that if I didn't have the financial capacity to do it.
Yeah.
You just like reminded me that there are so many people out there. I mean, it's kind of obvious, but it's also not, that there are so many people out there that are suffering and have no way to get any help.
No.
At all.
No. Yeah.
Yes, it's sad.
I think when Craig first started going through, and obviously we have in England, we have the NHS, and that's free. But he was offered 6 sessions. Was it for half an hour?
Yeah, half an hour.
6 sessions for half an hour to explain what's going on, how he's feeling. And then once those 6 sessions are finished, that's it. It's okay. Thank you, Craig. Thank you for coming. All the best.
Reapply in 6 months and see what we can do.
And that's what any guy or any girl or child or whatever will get. That's what they get offered, and that's it. What the hell is that going to do for somebody? That's the tip of an iceberg for somebody. It needs to be, I don't know, lifelong, however long it takes for that person to feel that just that little bit better. And it does take time. It doesn't take 6 sessions of half an hour. That's ridiculous. And it's just, if we were therapists, I think we would try and fill our day up with sitting down and talking to people, but we're not. We wouldn't know how to do it. But just having Craig answering an email, the joy that someone's, wow, you've answered us, you've responded. We didn't expect to hear from you, and that fills Craig's heart up. And that's what we've sort of reversed it, haven't we? Whereas you were in such a shit state. He's turned it around where he's there for somebody else to make them feel that bit better. And he feels better knowing that they feel better. And it's sort of, it's medicine for Craig doing this, and it is fantastic. And we just wish there was more guys, I don't know, celebrities, or opening up and saying, look, that footballer that earns all this money, he had this rough time, he went through it. And seeing a video of him opening up, it would do kids, men, women, the world of good to see that it does go on. It's not just them that are suffering, and it's real life people that go through it, and that's what we wish was more out there, really.
Well, I would imagine that everyone who listens to this little podcast of ours is going to be like, she said she wasn't a therapist, but every time I listened to what she said, I felt better. Right? Because yes, maybe you don't have a PhD, maybe you didn't go to school, but you're clearly connected to your heart. You're clearly connected to your soul. And that's really all we need to be a therapist for another human being, right? Just to have someone hold space for us, just to have someone listen to us, just to have someone see us, just from the eyes, but from the heart.
That's it.
And clearly you see him and he sees you. And everyone listening to this little chat we're having will feel seen by both of you. That's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
And it takes time. It takes time. It takes time, sitting in front of your wife and just talking, or a friend or something, that one conversation, you feel clean afterwards, you feel cleansed, and just keep doing it and doing it and doing it. And then that talking once helps, but you chip that bit of ice away, that barrier's come down. And then you got another barrier, just keep talking and talking. And more you talk over the years, over the months, weeks, days, hours, the barriers will start coming down. You start feeling better about yourself,
You had said that you're not sure if you would still be here if you didn't have all of the tools that you now have. And I can relate to that. And there are many people that can relate to that, because we need each other.
Yeah.
Right? We need each other. We have forgotten that we need each other. And a lot of the madness is because we have forgotten that we need each other. We've forgotten that we are all the same. I always tell people, they say to me, "Oh, what was the greatest lesson you learned on your journeys?" And it's always the same. It's that we are the same at base, at our human base.
Yes.
We just want to be seen. We just want to be heard. We just want to be loved. It's literally that simple. And I think that's what Betsy did for you.
Yeah.
She saw you. She heard you. She was there for you, right?
Yeah.
Every day.
Yeah. Unconditional.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, we could be here forever. Literally. How much does it cost to send someone to your school?
£200 for a full weekend, and from Friday to Sunday, and people are enjoying it. People are getting it, and we sit here and talk, and it's good because in the evenings, if I get somebody down with severe mental health issues or PTSD, my therapist comes down and he will sit with them as well, and in talks. And he doesn't have to do that, but he wants to do it, and he does do it, and it works. It works.
So this is what I'd love you to do. I'd love you to pick 5 people who do not have the money to come to your school, and I will pay for them to go to the school.
Oh,
okay?
That's very kind of you.
Yeah, no worries.
Thank you.
Yeah, no worries at all. So you pick the 5 people that you think that will be touched the most by having that experience. You can send me an email. I know you guys have been speaking to the producer. You can send him an email. Let's connect that way. And you just find 5 people. Don't tell them. I don't want them to know it's got anything to do with me. Yeah, I don't want my name to come up at all. You just find those 5 people, and I'll send you the £1,000, and do what you do best, which is basically touching people's hearts and through your own pain, making them feel like they have value, because they see in you what is inside them.
Yeah.
Right.
Thank you.
That's very kind of you. Thank you.
No worries. No worries at all. And look, next time I come to Southampton, which maybe never, because I've only been there once. If I do come to Southampton, or if you ever come to Los Angeles, or if we ever find ourselves in London at the same time, let us definitely stay in touch, because, when you find people who see the world in the same way that you see it and feel it, the trick is to stay as close to them as possible.
Yeah.
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 And like I said, we could sit here all day and just talk shit. But
we absolutely could. So please, 5 people, send me the information, and I'll PayPal you the £1,000.
Oh,
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah, we intend to.
Do
Yeah,
you know what? It's interesting. There are moments during this call where I've felt your pain, and there are moments in this call where I felt your hope and your joy, right? And you just got to keep sharing with as many people as you can, because it's a win-win. You win, and they win.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
And I think that's something absolutely, that's why we're, encouraging Craig to do all these podcasts, so that we are getting the word out, and we are sort of saying there is help out there. Please just keep talking, find that person to talk to, and open up,
Keep talking.
Life's worth living. It really is.
Broken bones can be mended, but the mind takes a bit longer, so the more you talk, more it mend as well.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hello everyone, it's Leon here, aka The Kindness Guy. If you like my videos, which I hope you do, don't forget to press the subscribe button and also to ring the little bell so that the notifications notify you that I have a new video out in the world.